This is the story of the Phantom Intruder. It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon at Maplewood High School. The students were engaged in their classes, teachers were lecturing, and the hum of a typical school day filled the air. Little did they know, a lockdown drill was about to turn into a nightmare.
Lockdown, lockdown.
The announcement was routine. Students moved to their designated spots. Teachers locked doors and turned off the lights. Silence fell over the school as everyone waited for the all-clear signal. But something was different this time. As the school lay in silence, security cameras captured something unusual. A shadowy figure appeared in the hallway, slowly making its way past the classrooms. The figure moved with an eerie calmness, as if it knew exactly where it was going. In the security room, the monitors flickered to life. The guards watched in disbelief as the shadowy figure moved from one hallway to another. Attempts to contact the figure through the intercom were met with silence. Panic began to spread among the staff. Teachers and students, unaware of the unfolding mystery, remained in their hiding spots. The intruder's path seemed random at first, but then it became clear. The figure was heading towards the main office. In the office, the principal and a few staff members watched the live feed, horrified. They saw the figure approaching, its features indistinct and blurred by the camera's resolution. The principal grabbed the phone, dialing 911 with trembling hands. Within minutes, police arrived and the school was surrounded. Officers moved cautiously through the hallways, weapons drawn, but the figure was nowhere to be found. The security footage was reviewed over and over, but it yielded no clues. The shadowy figure had vanished. When the lockdown was lifted, students and teachers emerged from their hiding places, unaware of the full extent of what had just happened. The police conducted a thorough search, but found no trace of the intruder. No doors had been forced, no windows broken. It was as if the figure had never been there. The following week, the school tried to return to normalcy, but the unease lingered. Then, during another lockdown drill, it happened again. This time, students in Mrs. Harper's history class claimed to see the shadowy figure standing just outside their door, peering in through the small window. Mrs. Harper, trying to maintain calm, quietly called the office, but by the time security arrived, the figure had vanished again. In the art room, students huddled in a corner as they heard footsteps growing louder. The door handle rattled, and then silence. The art teacher, Mr. Lewis, peered out into the hallway once it was safe, but saw nothing. Security footage showed the figure standing at the art room door for several minutes, unmoving, before disappearing once more. The pattern continued over the next few weeks. During each drill, the shadowy figure would appear in different parts of the school, always slipping away just before being caught. The local authorities were baffled. The figure left no fingerprints, no physical evidence, nothing. Parents demanded answers, teachers were on edge, and students were terrified. Some claimed the school was haunted. Others believed it was a prank taken too far. But those who saw the figure knew it was something more sinister. One evening, the school held a meeting to address the concerns. As the principal spoke, the lights flickered, and the shadowy figure was briefly seen at the back of the auditorium. Panic ensued, and the meeting was cut short. Once again, the figure had vanished without a trace. Security measures were heightened, more cameras, more guards, but nothing could capture the intruder. It seemed to be playing a game, always one step ahead, taunting those who tried to uncover its identity. The legend of the Phantom Intruder grew. Some believed it was a spirit of a former student, wronged and seeking revenge. Others thought it was a manifestation of collective fear. But no matter the theory, one fact remained. The figure was real, and it defied explanation. To this day, Maplewood High School remains vigilant, haunted by the mystery of the Phantom Intruder. No one knows when or if it will appear again. The halls may seem safe, but a shadow still lingers, a reminder of the unknown presence that once walked among them. Some say the figure was a ghost. Others believe it was a trick of the light or a flaw in the security system. But those who were there, who saw the fear in their teachers' eyes, know that something truly inexplicable happened that day. A haunting presence that turned an ordinary lockdown drill into a terrifying encounter with the unknown. 10 years ago, something terrifying happened at my high school, and now, it seems to be happening again. It was a cool winter morning at Ridgewood High. I was a junior then, just another student navigating the chaos of high school life. The students were bustling through the hallways, teachers were preparing their lessons, and the day seemed just like any other. But beneath the surface, something unsettling was brewing. Lockdown drills had honestly become routine, so we all moved to our designated spots. Teachers locked doors and shut the blinds. Silence settled over the school as everyone waited for the drill to end. But while we were all waiting, something very mysterious was happening. In Mrs. Garcia's classroom, we huddled in the darkened corner, whispering anxiously. Several of my friends, including Emily and Jake, had reported feeling watched or followed in the days leading up to the drill. Emily had seen shadows outside her window at night. Jake felt eyes on him whenever he walked home from school. I brushed it off and told them they were both just being paranoid. Eventually, the lockdown drill ended without incident. The principal's voice crackled over the intercom, signaling the all clear. But what happened next would send shivers down all our spines. As we all went about our day, the janitor noticed something unusual taped to the principal's door. It was a plain white envelope, with no markings or indications of who had left it there. Inside was a single sheet of paper, neatly folded. The principal unfolded the paper and gasped. Written in neat, almost meticulous handwriting was a list of names. Emily, Jake, and several other students, including myself, who had reported feeling watched were on that list. The principal called an emergency meeting with the staff. The note was passed around, and the room fell into a hushed silence. No one knew where the note had come from, or who could have written it. Security footage was reviewed, but it showed nothing unusual. The cameras had not captured anyone placing the note on the door. It was as if it had appeared out of nowhere. As the days passed, tension grew within the school. The students whose names were on the list were watched closely, but nothing out of the ordinary occurred. Yet, the feeling of being watched persisted. One night, Emily received an anonymous text message. It contained a single sentence. "Be careful who you trust." She showed it to her parents, who immediately contacted the school and the police. The investigation continued, but no leads emerged. The source of the note and the text message remained a mystery. The students and their families were on edge, constantly looking over their shoulders. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, the fear began to subside. The school installed more security cameras, and the police increased their patrols around the area. The feeling of being watched gradually faded, but the mystery was never solved. We graduated and moved on with our lives, but the memory of that note lingered. Just last week, my younger cousin, who now attends Ridgewood High, mentioned it to me. Another lockdown drill, another note, another list of names. This time, it's the names of his classmates. The fear is back, and with it, the haunting question: who is watching us, and why? It's a story that leaves us with more questions than answers, a mystery that lingers in the hallways of my high school. Some believe it's a cruel prank, others think it's a warning. But those of us who have experienced it know that something sinister is at play. And as the shadows grow longer, we're left wondering, when will the next note appear? I was only in 6th grade, but remember this day like it was yesterday. The hallways were buzzing with the usual chatter, lockers slamming, teachers calling out reminders. The routine was comforting, but that comfort was about to be shattered. You see, I grew up in a rough area where quote-unquote emergencies were common, and as such lockdown drills were a regular part of our lives by then. We knew the routine: find cover, stay quiet, and wait for the all clear. My classmates and I ducked under our desks. The lights were turned off, and we sat in silence. In the darkness, we could hear our own breathing, the occasional cough, the creak of the building settling. Minutes ticked by slowly. Then, we heard something strange, soft footsteps, not in the hallway, but in our classroom. We all dismissed it as nerves, but the unease lingered. The lockdown drill finally ended with the usual announcement from the principal. We got up, stretched, and started to line up outside the classroom as we had done countless times before. That's when our teacher noticed something was wrong. David, one of our classmates, was missing. We looked around, thinking he might have slipped out to the bathroom, but he was nowhere to be found. Even though he was there this morning, none of us had seen him since the lockdown drill. Mrs. Garcia quickly reported it to the principal, and within minutes, the school was in a state of alarm. This time, for real. The police were called, and an extensive search began. They combed through the school, every classroom, every hallway, every closet. They searched the grounds, the nearby woods, and even questioned everyone in the building. But David was gone, as if he had vanished into thin air. The school remained closed for weeks. The police continued their investigation, but no leads emerged. David's family was devastated. We all were. Rumors started to fly. Some said he ran away, others believed he was taken. But none of it made sense. David had no reason to disappear. What if he was taken by someone? What if he's in danger? We have to find him. He wouldn't just leave like that. Despite our fears and the relentless efforts of the authorities, David was never found. The case went cold, and the school eventually reopened. But nothing was the same. The hallways felt darker, the classrooms quieter. We all moved on, but the shadow of that day lingered. Years have passed since then, but the case remains unresolved, and the memory of David still haunts me to this day. If you found these stories unsettling, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more chilling tales. Let us know in the comments section below if you have a scary lockdown worth sharing. Thank you for joining us in Scare City. Sweet dreams, if you dare.